Okay. So we're talking about favourite movies. My favourite movie of all time is, I actually do have one. It's called This Beautiful Fantastic. It's relatively recent and it has two of my favourite actors in it who are Jessica Brown Findlay and Andrew Scott, and I was lucky enough to see them in Hamlet this year, which was really cool. But I just really like it because it's sort of, well, it touches on mental illness and unlikely friendships and non-sexual hetero relationships, and it sort of explores really creative people who have to sort of overcome like inner mental unhealthiness to let their inner flower shine. Yeah, it's really good. It's a comedy and it has like gardening as a metaphor, which kind of makes it sound like it's an old people movie, but I really like it. But any sort of movies that focus or touch on like mental health type of things, like The Road Within or Short Term 12, and there's so many others, I really enjoy those and really sort of respond emotionally to them. But more recent ones that I really enjoyed, I'll get my diary because I write down every single film I've ever watched. So more recent ones that you probably recognise, I like Little Miss Sunshine, Lion, Pride's really good, A Street Cat Named Bob, Denial, Land of Mine, Their Finest, I, Daniel Blake, A Monster Calls, Okja, Baby Driver, Handsome Devil, and that's about it from this year. Hope you recognise some of them because yeah, it's kind of nice understanding people's tastes and things like that. And in terms of music, I listen to scores, which are like the instrumental accompaniments to movies, all the time. And I have a Spotify, which is probably going to answer the question a lot better than I can now. I'll put that in the description box below. My favourite thing about going vegan. So I actually kind of wrote a response to this because I want to get it right and I don't want to say something that you'd hear in like every other video in response to this question. So for me, being vegan is fabbity fab because it gives you a way to affect change about all the things that frustrate you in the world, that you want to tear your hair out about, that really depress you, because it can affect things like systematic discrimination, oppression, sexism, racism, speciesism in a bottom up or whatever the opposite of top down is, because waiting for top down change implemented by governments and policymakers and things like that just takes a while. I mean, in the whole span of human history it can be quite quick, I suppose, but affecting change by voting with your dollar from sort of a grassroots level is a much more satisfying way to move the world towards having a better moral code, set of values. And it sounds really cheesy, but I suppose veganism could sort of be seen as like fertilizer, because you're fertilizing the world's moral code and values to be made, because if you're respecting animals then you're more likely going to be respecting all human beings and therefore making more respectful and compassionate decisions for all of humanity. I don't know, I think I'm just pardon me, talking around in circles now. But another reason I like to be vegan is because the food tastes good. That's the short answer. Next question is, what good things come with being highly sensitive? I really like this question. I had to think about this one as well. I think with being a highly sensitive person, I'm quite a good listener, because I also, not saying that everyone else isn't, just that you sort of are perhaps more clued in than the next person about the unspoken sort of emotional weight behind people's words. And I guess also with being a good listener, you're just sort of quite a good receptor of, yeah, just people's body language and their internal thoughts and feelings and things like that perhaps is going on inside their mind. It's not being spoken. Yeah, I mean, the negative is that you like carry that all with you and feel like shite all the time. That's not true. Next question is, do you ever eat night snacks? And I presume this is just like eating snacks at night. Well done, vegan. No, I don't generally. I have like on occasion when I've been hungry and it's late at night, but generally I like to eat dinner earlier rather than later, and then I can have like a productive evening doing something else, and I just sort of vacate the kitchen and don't let the possible dessert options tempt me too much. And then I go to bed quite early, like 9:30, so that sort of puts me unconscious before I'd be too hungry again. But if you're hungry at night, just eat like food's a positive thing and you should not go hungry. Dream destinations you want to go to. So many. I wrote them all down, although let's be real, who just doesn't want to go everywhere? Well, not everywhere, but a lot of places. Ireland, Iceland, Finland, Sweden, Amsterdam, see more of the UK, more of Canada, more of America. Love to go to Japan, but at the moment New Zealand looks like the most realistic and not too distant possibility for me, because when you live in Melbourne, apart from if you lived in Tasmania, you couldn't be further away from like any overseas place really. Like, it's quite good because you have quite a fabulous international airport, you can go anywhere, but everywhere is like a long haul flight. So super jelly of those European people. Or if you lived in like Asia, I feel that's a good like center of the world position to be in for travel. And the last question is, how has my relationship with food changed since starting my channel and before? Just relationship with food in general. Before I turned vegan, I wasn't really conscious of my relationship with food. Turning vegan, I guess, shone a spotlight on that and made me think like I had to think about it, which is a good and a bad thing. I've always been interested in food, I suppose, before turning vegan. Loved cooking since like age 7, 8. That's been a big passion and hobby of mine. But since turning vegan, and the channel I guess has documented like 2 out of 3 years of that, I look back and there's been like a bit of a crazy change. You know, there's the classic like, was super dead set on being high carb, low fat, and thought oil was the devil, and I just do not think like that anymore, do not try to eat that way. I just focus on whole plant-based foods, but at the same time eat quite a heck of a lot of processed foods. I just try to eat more whole foods than non-processed foods and want all the food to taste good, I suppose. So that's probably what's leading the pack of my priorities. Yeah, I think I just totally screwed up my mindset with food by turning vegan. There were a whole range of benefits that came with it, but I just thought about it too much and was way too strict with it, and it caused me a lot of like internal stress over just unnecessary things. Like, I've learned a lot about oil, but now my mindset about food is a lot more healthy, and I think ensuring your mind health is top notch is a real priority that we all should try to achieve, because I think we all know the mind's like controls everything else. So how can you expect to be healthy if your mindset isn't healthy about all things, including food? Okay, that got a little heated. I'm gonna try and, I need a lid for this, but chuck my balls in the baobab powder, put them in the fridge, and wrap this Q&A up. I hope you enjoyed Honey Bunches and you got something out of it, and I hope those people who won, I ended up letting 3 people win the competition-y thing to win a HBOT journal. I'll just like do more of them in the future, because I kind of just want it to make people's day on a larger scale and put a lot of effort into making it like a positive ray of sunshine, little creative project. So yeah, I'll do more giveaway things in the future. All sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, rambling. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.